everyone, it's me, Terry, of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Tuesday Tidbits. In today's Tuesday Tidbits, we are going to be starting another crochet with me. So this is going to be part one of creating the Angelmo bag. The Angelmo bag, probably not pronouncing it right, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. It is a design by Jackie Luders, and she is Love for the number 4 crochet. I will put and link her Instagram page in her other info down below in the description box. She is the designer of this bag, but she was so nice to let me make a tutorial out of it to show you how to do the pattern. In part one, we're going to do the base, and I will do one of the squares, and then you'll have some homework. And then in part two, I will come back in a week for the next Tuesday Tidbits, and that will be part two, and we will do the assembly then. Okay, so let's get started. So first, I'm going to talk about the things that you need to make this bag. Okay, so I am using DK weight yarn, and so all I did was grab a whole bunch of little leftover balls of all DK weight yarn that I have. Okay, this is a great scrap project. Okay, so I have my balls I'm going to be working with. I did pick one main color. This is going to be for the seams to put the squares together and for the top to unite it into a bag. Okay, and it's the same weight, the DK weight yarn. Okay, now you can use any weight size, any weight of yarn that you want. So if you have a lot of scrap balls of worsted weight, then you can use worsted weight yarn. Okay, and then your hook size may be different than my hook size. I'm going to be using a 4mm hook, which is a G hook. Okay, in American hook terms, but it's a 4mm hook. Okay, so you need your crochet hook. If you're using worsted weight yarn, you may want to use a 4.5 or 5mm hook, or you could use a 4mm hook. It's up to you what hook size you want to use, but I wouldn't use a real large one. Okay, I would use a smaller hook. Okay, and then you're going to need scissors. Okay, and then for the drawstring, I have one of these little drawstring gripper holders. It's got a spring in it. I'm sure you've probably seen those on drawstring bags. This one was taken out of something. My husband recycled something, and he gave me the little drawstring lock, I guess you call it, for it. You don't need this. You can always, when you're doing the drawstring and finishing up the bag, you can always just tie the ends together if you want to. Okay, I do have this cord. It's something I got from, I think I got it from Joann's. It's by Dritz. So I could have gotten it from Walmart also. I'm not sure, but it's just a cable. This is called a cable cord. Okay, I've had this. I got it for something else. I don't remember what. I think it was another drawstring bag that I made. But when I was going to show you that it unravels a lot, see, when you're using it. So what I'm actually going to be using for my cord is it's not the whole thing. It's like, since it unraveled, this is a good size to fit in here, so then it will be tight on the cord. And so but you don't have to use that. You can just use yarn, hold 2 strands together and make a chain for your drawstring, or you can chain out and then slip stitch back your chain, the length of your chain, and make a drawstring. That way you can use whatever drawstring, whatever you want for a drawstring, but this is what I'm going to be using. Okay, so now we will be using this in part 2 though. So for today's, you just need your scrap balls that you're going to be using, your hook, and your scissors. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the base of this bag. The base of this bag, this is all granny stitches, but the base is a 5-sided granny instead of a 4-sided granny. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to pick one of my colors. I have a very small ball here. I thought that would be good for my first round. Okay, and I'm going to be changing colors each round. You don't have to do that. If you want to just make solid squares, you can do that. You can, all these things are going to have 6 rounds to them, so you can change however you want it. You can do 2 rounds and then change colors, you know, so that way you would use like 3 different colors for that square if you want to do 2 rounds per color instead of 1, you know, however you want to do it. Okay, but I'm going to be changing every round. Okay, so I'm going to start with a magic circle. Now I do have a tutorial that teaches the magic circle, and so I can link that down below in the description box if you need that. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and start with the magic circle. Sometimes they call it a magic ring. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to do 2 more double crochets into the ring. 1 and 2. Okay. Now I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to do another group of 3 double crochets. Okay. That chain 3 in the beginning, that counts as our first double crochet. Okay. So there was 1. Here's my second double crochet, and now my third double crochet. Okay. Now I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to do 3 more double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and tighten my ring up a little bit so I can hold on to it better. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 groups of 3 double crochets. We need to do 1 more grouping, so we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then do another grouping of 3 double crochets because we want to have 5 groups of 3 double crochets with a chain 2 in between all of them. Okay, I'm going to pull my the magic circle, the beginning tail. I'm going to pull it tight to close up that circle. Okay, now if I'm looking at my shape, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and so ordinarily I would need to chain 2 and then join do the slip stitch into the top of the beginning chain 3, but I'm going to change colors. Okay, and so the way I like to do that, to change colors, I like to use a magic knot. Okay, so what I do is I'm going to cut my yarn. Doesn't have to be very long, just a few inches. Okay, put that color aside, and then I'm going to pick my next color. Let's see, let's use this bright yellow. Okay, now I'm going to leave my hook there, you know, the loop on the hook, and then I'm going to do a magic knot. And the way I do that is I take the yellow, go underneath the purple, up and over, and make a loop just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go under there just like I'm doing an overhand knot, like when you first tie your shoe. When you're tying your shoe and then you tighten that up. Okay, and then I'm going to pull that knot. I'm going to pull it up close to where my hook is, not all the way, but real close to it. Okay, and now I'm going to take the other end and I'm going to go under it, under the yellow, and then over the yellow and over the purple. Okay, to make a loop. And then I'm going to go under that purple to make that overhand knot. And then I'm going to start tightening that up, but I want to move that knot down the line there close to where my first knot is. Okay, before I tighten it. Then I go ahead and tighten that. And then I take the yellow strand and the purple strand, where I was working at right below the hook, and I pull those 2 knots together, and I pull it really tight. Okay, so there's my magic knot. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to snip off these tails, and I can snip it real close to the knot. Okay, I'm going to be doing this every time I change colors, so you'll be seeing me do this several times. Okay, so I'm going to trim it real close to that knot. So see, there's my knot. Okay, now instead of a chain 2, it's going to be equivalent of a chain 2, which is a half double crochet. So I'm going to just do a half double crochet, but I'm going to go into the top of that chain 3, just like that. Pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to make my half double crochet, and that is an equivalent to a chain 2 corner. Okay, now I'm ready to do my second round in the yellow. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, that counts as our first double crochet, and then I'm going to do 2 double crochets into that same hole there. So 1 and 2. Okay, now I'm going to skip over this chain 3 double crochet grouping, and I'm not going to chain, but I'm going to do 3 double crochets into the next corner where that chain 2 is. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now this is going to be a new corner, so I'm going to chain 2 here. Chain 2, and then I'm going to do 3 more double crochets in that same hole. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to go over into the next chain 2 space, which is right here, but I'm not going to chain. Okay, I'm just going to go right over and make 3 double crochets into that next chain 2 space. The only chaining we're going to do is where there's corners. Okay, there's 3 double crochets. Now I'm going to do chain 2, and then I'm going to do 3 more double crochets into that same hole. 1, 2, okay, and then 1 more, 3. Okay, now we're going to do again in that the next chain 2. Okay, so 3 double crochets, no chaining. 3 double crochets into that next chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then chain 2, and then 3 double crochets into the same space. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we have one last chain 2 space to work into before we complete the first one. So we're not going to chain any, okay, but we're going to do 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets back into that same hole. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we are back to the beginning. Okay, well, in the beginning, see, all of these chain 2 spaces, we did 2 3 double crochet clusters, okay, in each one, or yeah, groups of 3 double crochets, except the first one, we started the first one, we only did 1 of them, so that's only a half of a corner. So we need to go ahead and go into that same hole that we started in, no chaining right there, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then if we're not changing color, then we would just do chain 2, and then we would join into the top of that very first chain 3, which is the very first double crochet of the round. But I'm going to change colors, so I'm going to do the same thing as I did a while ago using a magic knot. So I'm going to cut my yarn just a few inches out. Okay, set that aside, and now we're going to pick a new color. Oh, let's see. I am going to pick this light blue color. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. Let me go ahead and zoom you up a little bit so you can see me do that magic knot a little bit better maybe. Okay, so I kept my hook there on the loop on the hook, okay? And here's my tail that I cut. And now I'm going to start with my new color, and I'm going to bring that from the other end, from going this way, okay? Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first yarn, actually I'm going to put it underneath here, this way I'm used to doing it, okay? Okay, so now I'm going to go under, I'm going to take my blue and go under the yellow, like that, okay? And then I'm going to go over the yellow, but I'm also going to like flip this over to make this little curl. See that? And now I'm going to take this blue tail and I'm going to go underneath this right there to make an overhand knot. Okay. Okay. And then let me pull it a little bit. See, now you can see that, right? Okay. Now I'm going to pull it tight, but not too tight. I mean, not all the way tight, because now I want to pull this knot over close to where my hook is. Okay. Now I can pull it kind of tight. Pretty tight, yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to do the other end. I'm going to take the yellow now, and I'm going to go under the blue. Okay. And then I'm going to put my finger there where it crosses, just to make it stable. And I'm going to go over this blue and over the yellow. Okay. And then I'm going to tuck that under to make that overhand knot. Like that. Just like you're tying a shoe, just like that, see? But before I pull it tight, I'm going to start adjusting it. Not losing my ring, but I want to adjust it down because I want that knot to be closer to the other knot before I pull it tight. Once you get used to doing this, you can do it pretty fast. Okay, now I'm going to work it closed, or get it tight. Okay, it's pretty close to that other one. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull it tight. Okay, and now I'm going to take the yellow that's right underneath the hook, hold on to that, and then hold on to my blue, and then I'm going to pull both directions, and those two knots will travel together, and then I'm going to pull it tight. Okay, and now this tail and the yellow tail here, I'm just going to trim that close to the knot, but don't cut the knot, but I'm going to trim it. You can trim it really close to that knot. Okay, let me trim the next one. Okay, so now we are ready to go on to round 3. Okay, so to close up this though of round 2, we're going to do a half double crochet into the top of the chain 3, and that's going to give us that chain 2 corner holes that we've been doing. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, insert our hook in the top of the chain 3, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull it through all 3 loops. That completes your half double crochet, and it also makes your chain 2 hole. Okay, now chain 3, 1, 2, 3, that's our first double crochet. It counts as the first one. And then do 2 more double crochets into that hole, 1 and 2. Okay, so that is our first half corner. So now we have this hole that was created. There's no chain there. It was just an opening that was created between these 2 double crochets. And so we're going to not chain anything, but we're going to just work 3 double crochets into that side opening there between the chain 2 corners. So 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we're going to do now you're at a chain 2 space, so we're not going to chain. We don't chain between the shells. We only chain 2 in our corners, okay? So this is a chain 2 corner, so we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1 and 2. Oops. Tangled up here, okay, and then do 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 corner, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we got a side, which is this hole right there, and we're going to do no chaining there, but we're going to just do 3 double crochets into that side hole. Okay, it's basically you're working like a granny stitch, but in the corner you're going to have 5 corners instead of 4 corners. Okay, so now we're at another chain 2 corner, so now we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and then 3 more double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's our corner we just made. And then now we're going into the side, which is this hole right there. No chaining here. 3 double crochets into that hole, side hole, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we're at a chain 2 corner again, so we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then chain 2 because we're in a corner, 1, 2, and then 3 more double crochets into the same hole, 1, 2, oops, 2, and 3. Okay, we have another side here, so we're going to do 3 double crochets into that side hole, okay, with no chaining in between, 1, 2, 3. And now we're at a corner, so no chaining, but we're going to go right into that corner, and we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and then 3 more double crochets into the same corner, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then 3 double crochets into that corner hole, 1, 2, oops, 3. Okay, now we need to finish this first one where we started. That we only did a half of a corner, so we need to go ahead and finish that by doing 3 double crochets into the hole, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and it, like I said before, if you're not going to change color, you would just chain 2 and then do a slip stitch into the top of the beginning chain 3. But I'm going to change color, so I'm going to cut my yarn, leaving a few inches there to do my magic knot, put my blue aside, and pick my next color. So I'm going to attach, that belongs over there. Okay, so I'm going to attach it with that magic knot just like I did before, okay? And then I'm going to start my next round, okay? So I've done 3 rounds. We need 6 rounds. So for the next round, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to see how the sides have 2 holes now. So in the next round, we're going to do, we'll do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in each of these point holes, the chain 2 spaces. There's 5 of them, okay? You will create this one when you join your next yarn. And then on all the sides in this round, in round number 4, you're going to have 2 side holes that you have to do 3 double crochets in each one of those. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next round, and then I will come back and I will show you what that looks like. I just did my 4th round, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4th round, and as you can see, I did 3. I ended up doing 2 3 double crochet groups on each side. Okay, and then I still have my 5 corners where I did 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Okay, now I need to do 2 more rounds. I've already cut my yarn, so now I'm going to pick my next color, which I think will be, let's pick this. I already did a blue. Let's see. Let's do this right here. This kind of a gold color. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this, and then I'm going to do my round 6. And not round 6, sorry, round 5. And so with round 5, you now have, if you look at your square, your 5-sided figure, you have 3, 1, 2, 3. So you're going to have 3 of these side holes, see, that you're going to do a 3 double crochet group, in each one. And then you have your corners where you're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So you're going to do that for round 5, and then one more round, you're going to do round 6, and you're going to do the same thing, except for round 6 you will have 4 of these. See, round 5 you're going to have 3 of the 3 double crochet groups, and then when you do round 6 you're going to have 4 of those little single ones in the middle. I mean on the side, sorry, between the corners, the middle between the corners. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up and do round 5 and round 6, and I will be back and I will show you the finished 5-sided figure. Okay, so I just finished my 5th row and my 6th row, and now that I'm finished and I'm not going to be changing colors again, I'm going to go ahead and do a regular join where I'm going to just chain 2, and then I'm going to slip stitch, sorry, slip stitch into the top of the beginning chain 3. It's just a normal join, okay, slip stitch. And then I'm going to cut my yarn. You don't need to leave a long yarn tail, just enough to weave in your end. And so then I'm just going to pull my yarn through there. Okay. And now I'm going to get my yarn needle and I will weave in my end here and of course the beginning tail as well. But see, I changed all those colors and I have no ends to weave in except for the very beginning and the very end. Okay, so there's our 5-sided granny figure. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom of our bag. Okay, and then the only other thing you need to make is a bunch of granny squares. Okay, so let's go ahead and I will get you started on the granny square. It's just a basic granny square. This is just the 4-sided granny squares. Okay, and so I'm going to pick from my middle color. Let's see, let me pick a small little ball. And I'm going to start with a magic ring again, or magic circle, however you want to call it. I'm going to do the same thing. Chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do 2 more double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, okay. Let me pull my beginning tail a little bit to close up that ring a little bit so it'd be more manageable. Chain 2, that's going to be a corner. And then do 3 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then chain 2 for another corner. And then do 1, 2, 3 more double crochets into the ring. Okay. And now we have 3 double crochet groups, and so we're going to do it one more time because we want 4. So chain 2 for another corner and then go do 3 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to pull our magic circle, the beginning tail, sorry, pull it tight to close up the ring. And now I'm going to cut my yarn and I'm going to change color because I want to change color every round again. Now I'm going to pick my other color and I'm going to go ahead and join it with my magic knot. That's the same way I did the 5-sided figure. I'm going to go ahead and join my yarn and then I will meet you right back. Okay, I joined my next color and I'm going to do a half double crochet and then I'm going to go into the top of the chain 3 just like I've been changing colors. Okay, and then I'm going to complete my half double crochet and that's going to give me my corner hole. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochets into the same hole, 1 and 2. Okay, now I'm going to skip over and go into the next chain 2 space and do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and then 3 more double crochets into that same space, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to skip over that next chain 3 space, skip over the next cluster of 3 double crochets into the next corner and do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then chain 2 and then do 3 double crochets in the same space, 1, 2, 3. Okay, skip the next 3 double crochets, go into the next corner, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and then 3 more double crochets, 1, 2, 3, okay, and then skip the next 3 double crochets, and now I'm going to go into the beginning corner to complete that corner by doing 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3 into that beginning corner. Okay, and now I'm going to cut my yarn because I'm going to change color. Okay, so I've connected my third color, so I'm going to do a half double crochet into the top of the beginning chain 3. And I was thinking when I was doing that even if you're not changing color, you should go ahead and join that same way, except for the very last round, because if you join with this half double crochet into the top of the chain 3, that will leave you in the space, in the corner space, so then you can start the next round in that corner space. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So chain 3, 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2 in the same space, and that's like the half of the first corner. Okay. And now we have side holes now. So now we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We will do 3 double crochets into the side hole, and we're not chaining in between these groups on the sides. Just like that. Let me bring you up a little bit. Oh, wrong way. Okay. And now we're going to do a corner, so that's 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Okay. So there's 3, and then chain 2, and then 3 double crochets in the same space. And then we have a side hole coming up right there. We're going to do 3 double crochets into that. No chaining in between. Okay, and then we're going to do another corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Okay, so I think you had the hang of how the regular granny square is worked. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and complete this round, and I'm actually going to go ahead and finish this granny square because you want 6 round granny squares, and it's done exactly the same way. So like the second, when I go around the next time, I'm going to have 2 of the 3 double crochets on the side, and then the next round I'll have 3, and so on like that. The corners are all 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So go ahead and finish your granny square, 6 rounds, and I will meet you back at the end when I've got mine finished. Okay, so I just finished my granny square, 6 rounds. When you have 6 rounds, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the single 3 double crochet groupings per side, and then you have the corners. Okay, so all I have to do now is weave in my ending tail, my beginning tail, and then my granny square will be finished. Okay, so now you're going to have some homework. So what we need for our bag is our 5-sided figure, which we have already, and also we need 10 granny squares. So for homework, make 9 more granny squares, and then I will meet you up next Tuesday, and we will do part 2 of this crochet with me, and we will put our bag together. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you again, Jackie, for allowing me to make a tutorial from your pattern. And we will see you in the next video. Bye!